Hi, Michael. Can you hear me?
Yes, whoop.
All right, great. Well, my name is Savannah McDonald, and I will be chairing in Terry's absence for this Tucson Pima County Historic Commission Plans Review Subcommittee on Thursday, January 8th at 1 p. Actually, we'll call to order at 1:03 p.m. And for item one, we'll do a roll call. Terry is absent. Savannah present. Blake,
Here.
Joel, currently absent. Andrew,
Here.
great. All right, we'll move on since we do have a quorum here. Item two, review and approval of the last set of meeting minutes, although it is agendized under the wrong date, I noticed, and it's also posted with a document name that's incorrect. I think it should be December 11th,
Joe,
2025.
are you attending the?
Yeah, I just was intending to
All right,
to
I'm
sign
gonna,
in. I apologize, I'm a little late.
I'll proceed with that, but can someone make a motion if they're ready to approve just changing the noted or corrected date?
We're waiting.
So moved.
You're right. I'll
All
be right
right.
in. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Mike.
That was Andrew.
And Blake will second.
Okay, thank you, Blake. All
Madam
right,
Chair, Madam Chair,
yes.
Joe is going to join in very soon.
Great. Thank you, Michael. I appreciate you calling him.
You're welcome.
All right, so we'll go ahead and take a roll call vote on the meeting minutes approval motion. So Savannah says aye. Blake,
Aye.
Joel is absent right now. Andrew,
Aye.
great. All right, motion passes 3-0, which works. All right, moving right along. Item 5, summary of public comments. Do you guys have any?
I don't have any. Michael or Jason, did you receive any public comments for this meeting?
I did not receive any.
And that would be the same from Jason.
Okay.
Inbox shows nothing for the office.
Thank you. Okay. All right. Item 4, we have historic preservation zone review cases, which we review under UDC. Oh, actually, hi, Joel. I'll note your
Thank you. I apologize
attendance
for being late here a little bit.
No
Sorry.
worries. No worries. Thank you, Joel.
You bet.
Okay. Came on at 1:05. No problem. Thanks for being here, Joel. We were just about to start item 4,
Okay.
which are our HPZ review cases. We review under UDC section 5.8/TSM 9-02 under the Historic District Design Guidelines and Revised Secretary of the Interior Standards and Guidelines, starting with case A at SD-082.00128/TC-MDP-0625-00377 at 102 East Speedway Boulevard. Construction of a new duplex model on a vacant lot. Full review in West University. And I think is it yours, Michael, as the contact?
Yes.
Thank you.
So, Madam Chair, members of the subcommittee, this project is a construction of a new duplex in West University. This is a one-story, 2,156 square foot structure comprised of 2 units. Unit 1 has 1,260 square feet, and Unit 2 has 896 square feet. The walls are stucco. It is sand finish. It's pitched roof. It has gray asphalt shingles. There are no chimneys on this property. There will be wood-clad single-hung windows and a wood-clad panel front door with 6 lights. There are no projections, and the CMU walls, and it has CMU walls, and it also has rooftop AC units. This property, this project, this application was reviewed by West University on November 12th, and it was continued for additional information. When West University reviewed it at that November 12th, they requested the applicant to come back with plans, with some modification to the plans, which will include the windows had to be modified to be either single or double hung, wood clad. The awning windows of the bathroom also had to be wood clad. They wanted the door design to be called out explicitly on the plans, and the panel doors on the front on 6 had to be with or without lights. And they suggested to the client to consider whether security screens were required, and if so, to explicitly call that out on the plans. The big request was for the applicant to change the driveway and the parking from the 17th Street to the south side on the alley. The applicant came back to West University again on December 9th and made all the changes that West University requested and presented to West University at the time. So the plans before you at the PRS today are the same revised plans that West University reviewed on December 9th. As you can tell from the agenda, the property is a corner lot on East Speedway and North 7th Avenue. It is approximately 7,683 square feet. It is currently a vacant lot. But there was an existing 432 square foot block and wood garage that was demolished in 2017 under permit number T07CM02712. So the property has remained vacant since then. So the proposed project is intended to reactivate this corner of the corner lot of the property. Now, when West University reviewed this project at its meeting on December 9, which I provided you with a copy of the legal action report, the applicant had met all the requirements that West University requested from the applicant, but they had the following conditions: that the board accept the 6-foot wall on the west side of the property, and the board also accepts that parking should be on the south side from the 18-foot alley. Now, the issue with the parking from the 18-foot alley was because zoning would probably not allow, but West University, in discussion with staff, we realized that the parking could be agreed on the 18-foot alley. I did not receive any public comments on this project as of now. And as a staff, when I review this, I find out the proposed work is in compliance with most of the standards that you will review for. However, there are only 2 things that, in my view, believe that it needs to pay attention. The standards talk about enclosures. So the 6-foot CMU wall on the west side on 7th Avenue, which was approved by West University, according to the technical standard manual, All fences and walls in the front yard are supposed to be 6 feet, not taller. But West University, for security purposes, uh, agreed on the 6-foot CMU wall in the front on 7th Street. And also the fact that the address on this property is actually on Speedway, but when you see the design, the front to the property is on the 7th Avenue. And secondly, parking is provided from the south side. West University requested that parking should be moved from the 17th Street to the south side on the alley, and which means that the project would then have alley access. Alley access is only allowed for properties that have 20 foot or more. In this specific case, it would be approved. I had explained to West University, which I'm also explaining to PRS today, that I checked with the zoning review. It is one of the changes that they are going to do a code amendment for. And currently they are looking at what is existing within the prevailing neighborhood. And in this particular case, they realize that most of the properties along this alley have already been using, are already using the 18-foot alley. And so the 18-foot alley, using it as an access point for this property, will be acceptable. We, as staff, we recommend that this application before you should be approved, subject to any conditions that you may impose. That will end my staff presentation, and I am ready to answer any questions that you may have. If not, I'll turn it over to
Sorry, just to clarify, Michael, it's DSD's decision or statement that it's 7th Avenue is considered the front yard, not Speedway.
Yeah, when you're on the corner lot, the applicant has the right to accept which one is the front of the property and which one is the side.
Okay,
Even though the address is on Speedway, the applicant has chosen to use 7th Avenue to be the front of this property, because you look at the design, the entrance into the duplexes is from 7th Avenue. So that would be the front setback.
Okay, thank you.
If there's no other further question, then I believe we will turn this over to Alex, who is the designer, the applicant in this case, to do the presentation.
And Michael, I'm not able to share hosting abilities for some reason, so I think you'll need to provide co-host abilities to the different speakers. Yeah, so Alex, but also our other guests, just for the future items too, if you don't mind.
Oh, that's fine. Alex, you are the co-host now, so you can share your screen.
Share it. All right, got it up. You guys can see it now?
Yeah.
All right. I mean, there's not a whole lot to go over now that Michael Taku went over it, kind of justified everything. The only thing that would differ from what he described to you, that I don't think was cleared, is the wall that surrounds the property. We have a 6-foot wall here that is solid masonry, but one of the requests from Western University was to make sure the wall that fronts the 7th Ave, which would be along this side, and then blocks in our yard, which is right here, is actually only half on masonry, and then the rest is wrought iron. So that way we can actually still visually see the building. But overall, as Michael mentioned, we have Speedway along the north property line. We've offsetted the building pretty far back from the street edge so that we get a little bit away from it because it's going to be pretty loud. And then, as he mentioned, we have the face of the building facing 7th Ave to create the duplex. And then the request was to do the parking through the alley so that we have the alley here that'll allow us to do the parking here. And as he mentions, a pretty straightforward building, rectangular white wood windows. Got one unit 1260, one unit 896. We followed the directions of West University, so got the wood door with some glazing on it. We got the Pella wood windows, ash shingle roof, pitched, nothing too glaring obvious. We do have the units on the roof. That'd be one deciding factor that you guys might want to put some input on, but the rest of it's pretty much cut and paste. There's nothing too detailed about this building or this lot. So, and Michael pretty much went over everything else. So I'll leave it open to you guys.
Okay, I guess I have a question back to Michael. Per West University, would this be considered a primary structure? I mean, it is because it's the only structure on the property, right? But it's defined as primary?
Yes, it will be the primary structure. That's the only structure on this property. The existing garage which was there, the garage cannot even be the primary structure anyway. Was demolished in 07. So this is the only structure which is on base.
So per the guidelines, primary structures need to have porches on facades, especially street-facing facades, and both on corner lots, foundations, things like that. Was that at all discussed? Why none of those were followed per the guidelines for primary structures?
The foundation was not specifically discussed during the review in West University.
And per the guidelines, porches shall be provided in all new primary building constructed along street frontages, rear and side porches for buildings located on corner lots. But there's no porches on this building.
Correct.
Was there an exception for that, or just sort of missed?
Purchase was not really discussed.
Okay.
If I make a mistake, Alex, you can correct me. I think it was not discussed.
That was never an item discussion. But I mean, if it's a requirement, we can definitely add it in there. I mean, we have plenty of room in what's considered the street front. So.
Okay, yeah. I mean, just as a starting point, I was just trying to make sure before commissioners asked their questions, we understood what the project was beholden to, if it was something different. But I think I understand now. And then the fences part per university, it's 48 inches height on a front yard, but you're proposing a wall that's taller than 48 inches on the front yard.
Yeah, and that's definitely one of the ones they mentioned because of the security, being that they're right up against Speedway. But it's a easy to see, easy to hit target house, being that its location. So they were okay to allow us to go taller on that one because of that reason.
But the solid portion is 48 inches or less?
30 inches is what I called it.
Okay.
Yeah, and then that goes wrought iron the rest.
And that's on the plans currently?
Oh, 16 inches. I'm sorry, it's right here. Yeah, 16-inch height CMU wall, and then it's wrought iron the rest of the way to 6 feet.
Okay, understood. All right, I will let commissioners ask their questions now. Andrew, do you want to start?
Sure. Yeah, I noticed the porch omission as well, and I do think that they should be included at each entrance to Unit 1 and Unit 2. And then the style of that porch, I think the guidelines talk about they're typically like a wood post on a like masonry pier. So I'd want to see something appropriate to the style of the neighborhood, not just like a 4x4 post down to a slab. But I think they definitely need to be included. And then the only other thing is the rooftop HVAC units. They are allowable, but they need to be placed on the rear of the roof. And right now they're kind of sitting right on the ridge. So I think those units need to be shifted back so that they're as screened as possible from the street.
Okay.
Yep. The I did have one question on the windows. Is there, it looks like on the elevations they're kind of different heights or different like top of window heights. Is there a reason for that?
No, I think that might have been a last entrance, and so I just didn't get caught. I'm seeing it right now, yeah. So they should
Okay.
definitely be on the same height, and they will be.
Okay. Yeah, and the design guidelines talk about the window openings kind of stressing or being more vertical than horizontal. So especially on those where you have the pairs of windows, um, I think the sill height is probably okay there, but I'd like to see the vertical proportion a little higher. Um, but yeah, then on the, can you clarify the roof overhang? I just saw like the one building section. It looks like it's like a closed eave.
No, they'll probably just do exposed.
Okay.
That's just
Yeah.
you're just seeing the background of the other fascia board. Yeah, but
Oh, I
it'll
see.
be pleasant. Yeah, it'll be open. So you got
Okay.
the fascia coming down, the outrigger, and then that's the we do have scuppers on there, gutters.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I just wasn't clear on that. So that's good. The open eaves are definitely appropriate for the area. And I think that's about it. I mean, on the windows, I'd love to see like a sill, because most, or like an expressed sill, it could just be stucco, but to have a little dimension to them, the kind of no sill and no lintel expression is uh out of character with the neighborhood. So you don't have to do both necessarily, but just something that'll give it a little relief, a little shadow line there.
Okay.
Okay. And then I think that was it. Thanks.
Thanks, Andrew. Blake?
Yeah, I'm just I will second all of Andrew's comments. I'm just poking around in the neighborhood here on Google Maps and following kind of along. Um, you know, most of the HVAC units are set back in a way that you can't see them where they are present. And just some dimension, on this building, porches, the windowsills that Andrew brought up, really following the character of the neighborhood, I think is an important part of making this new structure feel like it fits in and it complements the neighborhood. That's all I got.
Okay.
Thank you, Blake. And Joel?
Yeah, so I just have a couple things again. Uh, I'm I second everything that's been said. On the HVAC, probably move them out of sight toward the back. The windows in the front, especially the double windows, need to be taller with the offset. I think in West University, something at the bottom, a wooden, not a wooden, or cement, something to point out the windows um, from the bottom is important. And then, but I do want to talk about the wrought iron that's going around. And first of all, I want to thank the owners here for using that vacant lot. It'll be a great improvement to that side of the neighborhood. That vacant lot's been kind of a, I don't know, thorn or something. And so I appreciate them building up the lot. Um, uh, but I would, the wrought iron, needs to be in character with the neighborhood, either sort of a banana peel or a spear or something like that. I don't know. Um, and then in terms of the foundation, uh, in this neighborhood, it's a real point of emphasis that the foundation should have a foot or so, or maybe even 18 inches of visible foundation made out of basalt or stucco at least, um, to be in character. Um, with the neighborhood. And then I agree with you, Savannah, about the porch, important feature. So I'm saying I agree with everybody with an emphasis on the height of the front windows, the wrought iron, and the foundation. Thanks. And again, many thanks to the people doing this. Really appreciate it.
Of course.
Thank you, Joel. Yeah, I think for that front wall, whoever is making the motion, maybe we request an elevation of what that looks like, right? So we can review that for the wrought iron that Joel is bringing up. I had one further question about the windows. I thought I heard wood clad, but what's the wood clad with? I just want to confirm it's not vinyl, it is a metal clad wood.
No, they're wood windows. Yeah, they're not.
Oh, they are
sorry.
fully wood. Okay. All right. Anything else? I mean, just on that note, Alex, I mean, we West University, in fact, does accept metal clad wood, which, you've got some west elevation windows here. It might be recommended for long-term durability of windows. So know that the metal clad wood is acceptable and might be appropriate. Okay.
Noted. Okay.
Who wants to make a motion? Are we ready? What do we think we want to do with this one? There are significant comments.
I don't know. I feel like there's a few, especially the porches need to be added, and I think we want to review those relative to the design guidelines. So I'd like to see the porches come back at least. So I think the appropriate thing to do might be um to I guess we could continue it. We don't necessarily have to deny it, right?
Yeah, right, Desiree? I think I saw
Yes,
you nod
you
your head. Yeah.
can continue the item if you would like.
Because I don't want to drag
But
it. I don't want to drag it out for Alex. So if he can get on the next agenda and bring it back, I'd be happy to look at it then.
So, Madam
yeah,
Chair,
sounds good.
what I suggest is you continue, just give Alex the things that you want to see when they come back. So when they come back at that time, you do not need to go back to the full review. You just go straight to the items that you had requested.
Sounds great. Yeah.
Yeah,
Good
so I think
advice.
we want to see the wrought iron, the HVAC, the foundation, and the windows. What I miss, Andrew?
Yeah, that's it. And with the addition of the porches.
Yeah, porches. Yeah.
Yep. Do we
All
need to
right.
make that part of the motion? Because I don't think we usually continue with conditions, but are you?
Yeah, you could just make a motion to continue and list the items they'll specifically review the next time we see it so we can focus our review and state it clearly for the applicant.
I think the only one I
Okay.
want clarification would be the foundation. How much height are you guys wanting to see?
It's
So
a good question because at least one of those units needs to be accessible, or it needs to meet the inclusive home design guidelines for the city of Tucson. So that gets really tricky if you're up 18 inches. I mean, you end up having to add a ramp, and I don't think that's the intent, probably.
Yeah, that's the upper end. I mean, it could be as little as 8 inches, I think. I mean, what do you think?
or is it a gesture, even because it is
Yeah.
not, it is a slab on grade building, right?
Sure,
So
sure.
I would feel comfortable with that. What about you guys? If it was even just like a reveal joint or something like that, or
Yeah.
Yeah,
wainscot.
keep in mind the building is surrounded by the wall that will have so like anything minimal you probably wouldn't see very much. We're gonna have that masonry wall up to 16 and then the wrought iron the rest of the way.
Yeah, I'm fine with not expressing it. And if I remember correctly, I think we've approved slab on grade, in other areas, especially for guest houses and stuff. So for new construction, it's pretty common. No one's building a crawl space anymore.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, but
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. Joel said that.
Okay, thanks, Joel. So we can omit that. I'm fine with that as well.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. I can make the motion here then. I'll do my I'll do my best to send it to you. I'm just on my phone only. So
Okay.
all right, so let me get the item number. All right. On the matter of item 4A, SD 0825000128 slash TCMDP 0625 00377 at 102 East Speedway Boulevard. I move to recommend continuance of the item with the applicant to address the following comments. One, that front porches should be added consistent with the design guidelines and other porches in the development zone. That the HVAC, or two, that the HVAC units be placed on the rear of the roof to properly screen them from the front. Three, to correct the window head heights to be consistent all the way around the building. Four, to add protruding window sills and consider adding express lintels above all openings consistent with the development zone. And five, to add front porches to each unit. Oh, sorry, I already had that. So just four.
All right, do we have a second?
Second?
Joel. Thank you. All right, we'll do
Oh,
a roll call vote. Savannah,
Savannah,
oh,
can I amend it? I
oh,
did have number 5 was to add elevations of the proposed fencing.
Yeah.
thank you.
And that's acceptable to the seconder.
Yeah, I think that
Andrew,
was it.
Andrew, before you vote, you talked about the window being vertical or something. Is that part of the motion?
No, I think it's probably covered in adjusting the lintel heights to be consistent all the way around.
Okay.
I apologize, I didn't allow time for discussion. Are there any more proposed amendments or items? Okay. Roll call for a vote now. Savannah says, aye. Blake,
Aye.
Joel,
Aye.
Andrew.
Aye.
Okay. Great. Motion passes 4-0. So thank you. Because it is a continued item, Michael, do you want to maybe summarize next steps for our applicant?
Well, once Alex will revise the plans per this guidance that you have here, and he will submit to us as staff, we will review it to make sure that it is actually accurate what you requested, and then we'll put it on the next PRS agenda. So this will actually depend on when Alex submit the revised plans, and we review, and then we'll put it on the next agenda. You will not need to go back to West University, Alex. You just need to come back to plans from the subcommittee.
I got it. No worries. Yep.
Right.
That's as little as 2 weeks, right? I mean, yeah.
Well, as I say, it depends on when Alex will submit the revised plan, so I cannot give a definite date now.
Sure.
As soon as he submits, we do revise things in this office as a team. We'll look at it. Once it is complete, then we'll put it on the next available agenda.
Michael knows me too well.
Sure, that's what I'm saying. So,
Exactly.
All right. Well, thank you. Appreciate it.
All right. Thanks,
All
guys.
right. Moving on to item 4B, case SD-11256/TD-DEV-1028, sorry, 1023-00431 at 135 South 6th Avenue, addition of a new elevator, exterior elevator and egress stair to provide full accessibility and code compliant life safety for a 3-story building. Full review, Rio Nuevo. Our staff contact is Jason. So if you could give us a summary.
Thank you, Savannah. Quick note, Michael, would you allow me to share screen?
Sure.
That way when I read the narrative, there's a visual.
Sure. You're good to go, Jason.
Yep, I am sharing now. Hopefully you see this is our rendering. This is at 135 South 6th Avenue. And so this project seeks to revitalize the contributing structure in the Rio Nuevo downtown zone. According to the historic inventory form prepared in 2015, it was constructed in 1914, listed as the Odd Fellows Hall. The first story was remodeled in 1946 with application of a ceramic tile wainscot and black glass to brick walls, flat plate glass windows. The first story has again been remodeled since 2010 as a restaurant and bar with a shaded dining patio at the side or north elevation, which can be seen here. The windows are a mix of 1/1 double hung plate glass and transoms with a prism glass. The sheathing is exposed brick and remains unaltered. The scope of work includes the addition of a new exterior elevator and egress stair to provide full accessibility and code-compliant life safety for the three-story building. The exterior improvements are focused on reactivating the upper floors. The new stair and elevator are placed on the north elevation, set back from the street, and are lightly connected to the existing structure and clearly distinguish new construction from the historic fabric. One of the things about what's going on is when you see this, there will be some alterations to the voids that I'll let Rick McLean further explain. And I'll finish with no interior renovation is included in this phase of work. This concludes my staff presentation. I'm available for any questions.
That was a great summary. Thank you, Jason. I just had one thing. I was channeling Terry for a moment. Can our guests and anyone who's on the meeting who we might not know who you are, can you put your contact information, full name in the chat just for our records? Thank you. That was it.
And I do believe, let's see, I saw there's Rick McLean.
Yes, yes,
If
Jason.
Let's go ahead and make sure you can share screen and you can talk about the project.
Perfect. Yeah, thank you so much for that introduction. Michael, if you don't mind making me host, I can do a...
Sure. It should be a good read.
Okay, perfect. Looks like it just came through. Okay, can you see my screen okay?
Yes.
Great. All right. Thank you again so much for having us today. Again, my name is Rick. I'm with Rep McLean Design and Construction. I've also got Kent Healy from my team as well on the call. And we're really excited to share with you what we've got, what we've been kind of working on for the past several months here for the Odd Fellows Hall in downtown. This is an exciting project. As Jason mentioned, the building was built in 1914. It's a beautiful building. It was exceptionally well constructed. Henry Jastad was the architect for it. And its biggest character defining feature for this by far, I think, is the west facade, which is a beautifully proportioned and laid out building. And it also has, if anybody has had the luxury to be up there on the second floor, it has a really wonderful kind of hall space, which was the hall for the Odd Fellows organization, and this great social space, which are those arched windows you see on the second floor building, or on the second floor of the image there. The part that's been unfortunate is that I think there's been several great restaurants on that first floor, but the second floor has never reached its kind of full potential, I think, for the public because it has some egress issues. Currently, there's one stair that's served by the door in the lower left corner here, which is the northwest corner of the building, that serves that second floor. And then you can see there's kind of a tacked on egress stair on the north side. There's kind of a similar, not a great egress stair on the west side, and there's no elevator. And so our client approached us a little while ago about ways that we could add elevator and stair to this building to really activate that second floor. The other desire for this building is that I think that west facade has been very well maintained over the years, but the north facade has unfortunately suffered a lot of kind of tacked on elements of utility and mechanical, and there's conduits of electrical and all sorts of things that have just sort of been kind of applied to it. And so the other desire for this project was to really kind of, even though it's not nearly to the same level of articulation as the west facade, it is a prominent facade in this building, and to be able to kind of work that facade back as well too, so that we could really sort of activate the space in between the building. So with all that, I'd like to go through, I think, kind of description. Oh, the other thing that I did kind of want to mention on this as well too is, since our client purchased the building a couple of years ago, he's been actively working on ideas for the interior, and he's been working with the SHPO's office. And so Susan Lawson is very familiar with the building. And so as we progress on the design, because he was working with her simultaneously on some of the other aspects for it too, she did help us kind of with the making sure that what we were proposing for our design did meet the Secretary of State standards for rehabilitation as well too. So I did want to mention that. So this is the site located here. If anybody's not familiar with it, it's on Broadway to the north and South 6. It's kind of directly across from the TEP building downtown. Again, these are the views of that west elevation, and you can see the north facade. You can also see another on this north facade with a lot of the infrastructure that's there, and then the sort of the east and south view as well. And these are sort of the surrounding buildings that make up the context for that area. Okay, so when we started looking at this building, and I was going to mention too that we are actually working simultaneously. The same owner owns the Waveblad building just to the north. It's a non-contributing property, but we're actually fortunate enough to kind of work on these buildings sort of simultaneously, and we're really excited about sort of developing the entire pedestrian way kind of all the way through here to sort of connect all the energy that's happened on Broadway and connect that all the way through Armory Park as well. But the things I wanted to point out here is, when we started to do the layout, when we kind of got tasked with how we would add this egress to this building and more life safety and sort of activate these upper floors, we did have a lot of conversations about, really wanting to maintain this west facade and where should we place these. And really the kind of the genesis for the design here was to actually push this kind of stair and elevator sort of back as far as we could reasonably, so that it didn't we didn't visually deter from, again, the character defining feature of the west facade. The other items that we took into account during the design is we wanted to make sure that the new stair and elevator were designed in a way that was, differentiated from the original structure. So it would be very clear as to what is new and what was original. And the other aspect of it is we wanted to keep something that was sort of very, very visually light as much as possible. We wanted to make sure that that we could make it as kind of transparent, so that as much of the existing building could be viewed. And then lastly, it is a separate structure in that it doesn't rely on the existing building for its structural capabilities, so that at any point this piece could theoretically be removed and the original structure could be returned kind of back to its original the original building. And then, as you can probably see from this rendering as well, too, part of the project is to remove that, kind of old walk-in cooler and some of those other mechanical elements, and relocate those so that we can then be able to, and then also remove a lot of the old conduit and infrastructure that's on the side of the building to start to clean that up a little bit too. And although we're not working on a restaurant or anything else for the interior for the building, we are sort of hoping to tee it up that there could then be a nice patio space or something else like that to activate that area, so that people could sort of enjoy this building and enjoy this area. One of the other, you can see these are sort of these canopy decks on the west side here, and you can see the stair on the east side with the elevator in the middle. One of the ideas for this was, if we're going to build a stair that's going to have these sort of landings that go through there anyway, and an elevator that's going to have these landings, maybe those landings just get a little bit larger. We do a glass rail, again, to kind of maintain as much visibility as possible, but you get these kind of outside areas that, again, people can sort of use these spots downtown, and they get kind of I think the best way to preserve these buildings is to breathe life into them. So if people are using them and engaging them and enjoying them, then I think that just helps these buildings get maintained for generations to come. So those were some of our design ideas for it. Again, you can see this is the existing elevation on that north side. And then this is the new elevator, or this is the elevation with the elevator, those canopies, and the stair. The one thing that I did want to point out is that with this, there is the existing doors into the restaurant on the grade level, and we would be adding a new set of doors onto the second floor here. And we would actually be looking at kind of expanding this existing window, removing the sill, taking that out down to floor level, and adding another door on that third level as well. And then we'd be removing that existing steel egress stair that's out there. There is no work planned for the west elevation on this project. I think this just documents the existing conditions that are there. Again, you can see on the site plan of the existing building in the southwest corner with that new stair, elevator, canopy directly to the north. We are, as part of this project as well too, there's an existing tree on the all in the right of way on the far south side of the sidewalk there. There were two other trees on this property as well too in the right of way that were actually unfortunately lost during a storm 2 years ago. I believe they were kind of mature Palo Verde trees that were in there. And as part of this project, to re-energize that pedestrian sidewalk area, and then also to meet the Rio Nuevo area requirements, we're proposing planting new trees in exactly those same spots for those trees, and also for the shade requirements on that sidewalk. And I've got just a kind of a few other visuals here. We really wanted to kind of dematerialize this elevator shaft as much as we could. We didn't want to call a lot of attention to it. We thought that probably the best way to do that would actually be to clad it in a wire mesh and let vines grow up it, because it would be a nice, great green, vegetated element all the way through there. Again, we've got these glass guardrails so that you maintain as much visibility of the existing building as possible. And I do have the development plan. If there's any specific questions on that, I think there's probably a little bit more the development zone. But that's what we're looking at for the Oddfellows project. Did anybody have any questions for us?
Yeah, I've got a couple things here, Rick. First, I just want to thank you for bringing this project to us. I'm now have the difficult job of balancing the architecture side of my brain that's really cool and really pretty and I really like it, versus the historic, the conservation aspects. So you're making my job here pretty hard. It's always a fun challenge to balance those two sides of my brain. But the first thing that I just want to make certain is, because the renderings, the digital renderings, the virtual renderings, kind of show this. And then there was another note that was calling out on the plans an exterior remodel on the west facade. And I just want to make sure that we're that is just an overlooked detail, that we're not, looking at going and covering up the brickwork that exists on that west side of the building.
No, yeah, I apologize. I'm not familiar with what that note would be, but there's no work that's planned for that west facade.
Great, then that is not an issue. It was just it was on, let me see, because it's just a weird little call out that I noticed on one of the plan renderings, I think maybe. Let me see if I can find it. On page 24, the exterior remodel is pointing to the northmost window on the west side, that slightly narrower single single one, and I just want to make sure that,
Oh,
we're
I'm so
it's
sorry.
probably something
Yeah.
that was overlooked during. I mean, I put plenty of these together, and I
Sure.
miss I miss little things like that all the time, myself in my own work. Um,
Yeah, I
so
apologize about that. That was probably just a copy and paste error there.
mhm. I totally get it. Just wanted to
Yeah.
check. That was my big thing. And then my other question was, you discussed planting pedestrian trees. Do you guys have species in mind? What are your plans for that?
The trees that were there that were lost in a storm were Palo Verde trees. So we were looking
Sure.
to replace those in kind.
Oh, okay. Great. I have no further questions.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you, Blake. Joel?
No, really, I have no questions. I think I think it's great. I love the materials. I don't mind the opening of the doors that you mentioned. Leave it to you, the professionals on the committee, but um, boy, it looks like a great project to me, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Joel.
Joel, Andrew?
Yeah, this looks great to me. I think it's really well considered, and it's really, deferential to the important parts of this building. So thank you for the thoughtfulness that you put into it. I do have just one minor question on the elevations. It shows that there's a downspout um, on, I guess, the northwest corner there that's being removed. Are you replacing that, or how are you dealing with the drainage?
Thank you, Andrew. Kent, are you on? Maybe you could help Andrew with that question.
Yes, I am on. Um, that also, let me see here. I believe that's going to be should be shown as replaced. So there will be a new, nicer looking version of that, which is not shown on the lower elevation.
Okay, no, that's fine. I figured it just got left out. I just wanted to make sure we weren't just gonna scupper it, or if we were doing like internal drains or something. But if it's just a replacement, that's perfect. So,
Great.
and then yeah, that everything looks great. Thank you guys. I have no further questions.
Great. Thank you, Andrew.
Yeah, thanks. Good catch on the downspout. Yeah, I agree. Very thoughtful and well-organized presentation as well. It's very clear. My only question was a little bit of scope because you said it was not a restaurant yet or whatever might be in the future, just left open. Are you doing the lighting now that we see in the rendering, or is that just proposed potential?
That's really kind of proposed potential.
Okay.
Just yeah, hopefully we're trying to set up a restaurant to come in there and tee them up for the best amount of success. But yeah, that's not quite part of our scope at this point.
Okay, cool. And then the last question was the vegetated wall. It's just the two sides, right? And the side that we don't see with the elevator doors, is that just exposed CMU?
The side that's up against the building, yes, that would be exposed masonry block at that point.
Okay. So it's the other three sides?
The other three sides.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Kind of three visible sides. Yep.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, I think well done. Looks great. Thoughtful. Any other comments from commissioners? Are we ready to make a motion?
Yeah, I'm ready. I can make the motion.
Thank you, Andrew.
Okay, on item 4B, SD 11250016 or 6, TD DEV 10230043 at 135 South 6th Avenue. I recommend approval of the project as presented.
This is Blake. I'll second.
Thank you, Blake. Any discussion? Okay. Did it right that time. We'll take a roll call vote. Savannah, I say aye. Blake,
Aye.
Joel,
Aye.
Andrew.
Aye.
Great. Motion passes 4-0. Again, we appreciate it, Rick. Nice work.
Thank you all very much. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Savannah, this is staff person Jason. I just want to make a comment out there. I see there's a person in attendance named Teresa. Teresa, if you could please put your first and last name and which item you're interested in the chat, please, for our records. Thank you.
Thanks, Jason. Okay, let's move on. Agenda item 5, which is courtesy reviews, which we have 5A, TP-PRE-122500278 at 181 West Broadway Boulevard, a proposed new landscape and hardscape features for renovations at the HSL Hyatt Hotel, formerly the Hotel Arizona. Looks like it's a contributing resource in Rio Nuevo area, and Desiree, you're our contact, so
Yes.
good. Take it
Yeah,
from
thank
here.
you. So this is a courtesy review, and I'll hand it over to the applicant. I don't have a whole lot of background since this is a courtesy review and the first time they're coming to PRS. They did go to the Historic Landscape Subcommittee and got some feedback. Just to clarify on what is currently contributing, it's really the landscape area, not the building itself that is contributing, but because it is in the RNA and adjacent to the ECBO, TCC, Tucson Community Center, historic landscape area, it does fall under PRS or historic purview for a review. So I will hand it over. And do you all need us to share permissions for co-host?
Yes, please, if
Who's-
possible. I'd like to
Who's presenting?
Tim Smith is presenting, but we will have both Phil Swaim and Eric Barrett will be kind of filling in different pieces of the puzzle here. So,
Great. Good afternoon.
Okay. Tim, I'm making you the co-host.
okay. All right. Let's see. Here we go. Hopefully that worked.
Yeah.
All right.
Great. I'm Phil Swaim. We're excited to be able to have a chance to talk with you about the old Hotel Arizona. And obviously, I guess it was built about 50 years ago. It used to be a Braniff Hotel. It's been closed for several years, but we're very excited to be able to have it moving forward to get reopened in the next couple of years. So we're on what we call an efficient schedule. We actually submitted our development package Monday. And so we are within the process, and we know we'll be coming to you formally relatively soon, but we did want to be able to have an opportunity to be able to have a chance to talk with you up front just to get your input to make sure we're going the right direction. I think we're excited about actually restoring back more to the original design of the hotel. So anyway, I think it all should be coming together well. As you may know, this is on Congress on the north side of the convention center. So it's connected to or adjacent to the historic plaza within the convention center. And we've been working on that with Eric Barrett and the city, getting that restoration done for several years. So we've got a lot of passion for the area and are excited about actually having this building coming and connecting to that plaza, really taking advantage of this part of the community. The HSL does actually own all the land from Granada to the east of the historic plaza, but they're actually three separate parcels. The west parcel is vacant. It used to have a parking garage on it and connected to this building with some bridges. It was actually getting a little bit dangerous to be able to park in, so it actually they brought it down without it coming down voluntarily. And then there were also some older buildings on the east side that didn't quite match the elevation of the plaza and things, but those also were having some problems, and so that has been removed. It's actually we're anticipating a future housing project So I've done some planning to make sure that we're not interfering with that. But as you'll see, we have a driveway that will be coming through on that side, as well as I think a a nice connection that will cross that to get to the plaza to really make a nice, to an integrated design here. Um, we had the opportunity. Well, here you can see the kind of the scope and the three parcels. With the hotel, the entry is on Broadway or Congress there, and and so we will be using valet parking and have an agreement with the with Rio Nuevo for some parking in the Lot C garage behind the music hall. So we're actually creating a one-way driveway that will be underneath the future housing building so that the so guests or the valet parkers don't have to go drive all the way around the block and can very efficiently get to the garage. We're also creating a plaza on the corner that will connect to our restaurant area, uh, and as well as a ramp up with a bridge over to connect to the historic plaza itself. We really like the idea of these plazas. I think the whole fabric from the corner in front of the old, well, I guess it's the Flynn now, but certainly within the convention center and here, I think to be able to continue this form of plazas makes a lot of sense in the fabric of this part of downtown. Um, so we are minimizing the what we're doing. So the improvements that we're doing on the east side there, knowing that the from the south from that part from the plaza or the patio that we're doing, that would be demolished by the future housing that will go in there. Um, but we are creating a connection that goes around that side of the building. Um, so we had the opportunity to meet with the landscape subcommittee a couple of weeks ago to get their feedback because of the connection, and that went very well. Some good input there, but we certainly wanted to be able to continue the conversation with you. And so, unless there's questions right now, what I thought it might do is to pass it over to Eric Barrett so he can touch base on the site. Uh, to cover what, and so you can go through whatever level of detail you'd like to hear there that we spoke with the landscape subcommittee about. And then Tim will come back and talk further about the building itself.
No questions. It's fantastic, Phil. Great job. Okay, so as Phil and Tim referenced, basically this is a connection of the historical plaza, which the historical plaza wraps around the between the Flynn and the hotel shops, or it became like office spaces, which is now that vacant land area where now we're proposing a new patio space that's going to tie to the hotel itself. But then it also wraps along the southern side along Calle Arusa and the roundabout itself. So you can see from the historical concept documents that we're referencing here, what we did was rotate these drawings to reflect, maintain north, so we're not constantly doing this back and forth, and trying to keep everyone oriented what we're looking at. So really the historical design had a lot of massing, a lot of species and plant material, but also massing of materials and between brick and concrete and using banding and other components of that. So we are obviously not, we're pulling from those inspirations, but we're not duplicating those. The primary reason for creating the patio space on the northern side, on the east side of the hotel, is because currently there is not an ADA accessible route down to Broadway from the plaza itself. You have to go up over a non-ADA ramp to across Broadway and get to the other institutional buildings. And really there's just no other access. It becomes kind of a dead end, and it's really not an engaged component that we would like to really engage and make more susceptible to all the users that are going to be there. Plus, we always want the people from the hotel to use that as a primary access to get to other events, the music hall and also the TCC and Leah Rich Theater itself. So next slide. So this again, bringing more to like design, development, and construction documents, the different plans that reference that, and then really the middle one is a enhanced graphic of how that plaza was going to be utilized. And specifically, what we want to point out is at the northern edge of the water feature itself, there was a direct connection, going east-west that tied into the offices and plaza spaces over there. Sorry, my phone's ringing. There's also another connection about halfway down midsection that's also located tied into the existing shops that were there. One of the things that was brought up that I was not even aware of is that used to be the old intersection of Main and Ochoa. Is that correct, Tim? Phil? I think that's what it was.
Not sure.
And so that was a critical component that they're looking to maintain, and obviously we're looking to maintain it because it's tied to the historical landscapes. Next page, I think, and I'm going to go through this as quick as we possibly can. So, just some reference photos. You can see there's no ADA access really along up into the hotel. Currently from the west side.
Right. This is Broadway. Yeah. Broadway's just off. So that's the music hall. This is the west facade of the building. So the primary entrance is on the north side and it's up a little bit from Broadway. But then there's a lower level that connects on the west side here as well. And then it comes back up again to the music hall.
As far as the historical landscape, all we're looking to keep is the palm trees. They were a significant component of a historical element that are at the north or northwest corner, and then the ones in the roundabout themselves. And so yeah, you can kind of see different perspectives of that. Otherwise, the vegetation that's around there has changed, and quite honestly, it's a lot of weed species now, and nothing that we're looking to maintain in that. The photo in the upper right here is showing the connection to that between the two lights and showing approximately where we're looking to tie in our connection to the patio space that's going to be connected to the hotel itself. Next slide.
Yeah.
Yeah, this kind of really shows what we're looking to obviously maintain. With the current code requirements, we're trying to provide as much shade as we possibly can on all public hardscapes areas. So we're working to provide a row of trees along Broadway and a very narrow planting strip in there. Remove the oleanders and provide a much more desert-friendly landscape in that aspect, but still somewhat it's desert to subtropical-ish, I would say. Along the west side where the private drive is, looking to provide a nice shaded walkway because we do believe that's going to become a significant walkway connecting to the not only the garage but also to the music hall itself, and then the patio space coming to on the north along the east side and down to the south in there. For the roundabout itself, we are looking at two options. I think I want to jump down to
sliding farther down.
Yeah, the detail. Last one more page.
Last one.
So one of the discussions that we had with Historic Landscape Subcommittee is what does this roundabout need to look like or should look like and reflect. So in the discussions, it was talked about providing grass, artificial grass, or a massive green planting, similar to what we treated for along Church Avenue, where we did mass plantings of ground cover plantings to provide that green mound effect and somewhat screening of component. Obviously, our thoughts are grass probably is not a good idea, and actually we would really discourage it. And I would say the city of Tucson would really discourage us using any real grass. Primarily just the water use, second, who's going to mow it, maintain it, and so forth. And we don't want to put that burden on to anyone if we can avoid that. The second option would be to use artificial grass and do a slight berm up and kind of restore that historical context amongst the existing palm trees, and then possibly incorporate some boulders that would be lava boulders to reflect the historical content. Artificial turf has got pros and cons. I would tell you the last 3 times we've tried to submit with the landscape subcommittee using artificial grass, it's basically been a no-go. So I think our best option really is to go with just a mass planting of what's called an emu or desert winter blaze, and or combination of an evergreen ground cover that we could still mound up around the existing palm trees and provide a mass planting that would get 6 to 8 foot in diameter and provide a nice green effect that would be there. And this design reflects that. There's, again, pros and cons to both of those options, and we were just being fully open and transparent about the possible intent of using that space. Next page is just a plant, a series of images of proposed plant palettes and the species, and basically all these plants have or have been used on the TCC in some manner or efficient throughout the entire campus. So we're looking to carry that throughout in the whole downtown core itself. And I'll turn it over to Tim and Phil for additional building discussion, and then we can revisit whatever you want to talk about.
Yeah, I want to look at this northeast corner a little more closely, just so that it's clear what's going on, because there's a lot of different elevation issues that we're resolving. So this is the northeast corner of the hotel. That's the end of the building. This is where the porte cochere, the entry driveway comes back down to Broadway. So what we're doing in that is we're narrowing the drive a little bit and creating a pedestrian connection down to Broadway that's actually accessible. Currently, everything's too steep. But then within that path and from that front door of the hotel, we're tying in with this ramp that will come around, and this will start to become a retaining wall, because this wider driveway is going down at the same time that this ramp is coming up. That way, by the time we get to this bridge height, we're within a couple inches of the historic plaza elevation. So this bridge is coming up and sloping up and connecting. Eric had that photo between the two lights out here. So we're connecting right in there. And then the driveway goes underneath. So we get this intermediate patio area that can have some outdoor seating. And then we have this ramp that's coming up that's accessible with a bridge over to the plaza. From a historic standpoint, the property line does overlap with the plaza. So portions of the historic plaza are on the property, but only just that slice. So we're still connecting and staying on the property within that. And then at the southeast corner, so here's the continuation of the drive. Here's the roundabout that we've been talking about. And then the music hall is just off the page to the south. The plaza's up here, and then there's the existing kind of big long stairs that connect the plaza elevation down. So we'll have a pedestrian connection at that south piece as well. So that's kind of.
But I would add to that. So because we are planning a building on the east side here, and right now this drive is temporary, we're trying to provide the access to it. All the angled walkway and even the crosswalk coming along Cayo Cruz and the roundabout itself, that is all temporary. So we are not looking to enhance or emphasize that at this time, because it's all going to change with that future building.
So we'll look at a little more of the context of the existing building. So here's Broadway. This is the north facade. There's the plaza. So our bridge will be connecting right in here. You can also kind of get a sense of some of the things that have changed in this building over the years. Looking at the added color and these horizontal bands weren't in originally the way that the building was set up. There's been some little adds. While these little design elements are original, the ones along the porte cochere were added. So they're in stucco and they're not doing great. So we're proposing to remove those added ones. Obviously, you can kind of see that there's an awful lot of work that needs to be done just to get the roof draining would be wonderful. But we are proposing to remove and replace the glazing system. So We'll zoom in a little bit here. So there's columns that have that are wrapped in a metal panel system. So those verticals are definitely going to be staying, but this glass is all single pane and aluminum frame and metal panel. And so as we reinvigorate the hotel, we need to use glass that will be energy efficient. So we will be removing the glass and this horizontal panel and then putting it back in a more vertical configuration. So we'll look at that in a moment. This is looking at that south side. There's the roundabout and the plaza's off to the east here. So it's kind of the context on the south side. So all four sides of the tower are pretty consistent. So we were able to dig up this image back when it was a Braniff back in the 70s. So you can see those the nice column wraps and then the glass infill that's all dark colored. In this configuration, looks like the air conditioning units in the rooms were hanging to the outside, which we will not be doing. We'll be using a more modern air conditioning system for the rooms. This is the portion of the building that's been removed, that east parcel that will end up being housing. So this is where our outdoor dining will connect to the plaza, and then that porte cochere with a smooth configuration. So here's a rendering of that same elevation, that northeast side. This is what we're looking at doing. So we're looking at bringing it back to the same single color. The glass configuration. So obviously the structure we're not messing with. We're retaining the structure, but we're infilling each of those openings, removing the glass that's there, and then bringing in a glazing system that meets the current energy standards for glass. And then that plaza or that patio area with the ramp up and the bridge over to the plaza. This one's looking at the east side and the south elevations. So this is kind of looking at it from the historic plaza. We do need to add egress stairs off of that, off of this level, as there's guest rooms, and so we'll be adding a pair of stairs off the south of the building. And then this is the west side and the north elevation. So Broadway here and Congress as it turns into Broadway. And then this is what Eric was talking about with adding on that west side. We're expanding. Currently, it's just the sidewalk and then asphalt. So we'll be adding in a row so that we can get some plantings along that west side to soften things up and shade that walking path. Then I think just real quickly, this is kind of showing the demolition, which, you know, we're taking out that full piece of glass in each case, but then the verticals stay. So what ends up happening then is that we replace that with glass and a spandrel glass piece so that the mechanical units are vertical. So that will be a dark bronze, aluminum colored frame system similar to what's there now, but with insulated glazing. So this is the entry side on the north, the east side where our raised seating area, the patio is. South side, so you can start to see the stairs and pedestrian connections that we're adding in to be able to get that egress out on both sides. And then the west side. So and as was mentioned, the development package was just submitted, so the city is kind of working through identifying all the pieces of the puzzle, but we knew that it's eventually we'll officially get here. So we wanted to get any thoughts or concerns, and so that we can address those prior to the official submittal. So are there any questions, anything you'd like a little more detail on?
Let's see. Thank you, Tim, Eric, and Phil. Great presentation. Joel, do you want to start?
Sure.
Questions?
I had just a couple questions as we went along. You mentioned new set of trees along the Broadway side. Do you have any more detail on that? I heard the word subtropical. I don't know. Do you remember that part?
Oh, yeah. So
Yeah,
basically,
so
right now,
any
it's
more
existing.
specifics?
I'm sorry?
Any more specifics on that than?
So yeah, right now, I mean, because we submitted a DP, we're basically 100% planted out and know the species that we're looking to move forward with, obviously, but they'll be back and forth based on these presentation discussions. So right now, what exists there is about a 30 to 3 foot opening on the back side of the sidewalk, and just before the overhang of the existing space, literally you can stand there and have a little planting space that strips in there before you get into the foundations. We're going to remove the oleanders, or proposing to remove the oleanders, and replace those with, right now what is shown is the Palo Blanco, which is a nice, light, feathery type tree that will provide a nice filtered shade on Broadway, the main walkway that we're currently no shade exists. We are looking at other species, either like a Mexican bird of paradise, or potentially quetzalotes, other smaller trees. The main thing is that we don't have a lot of soil mass for a big tree to grow in that space. And there's also the adjacent light rail that occurs along that with the cables and everything else. So putting like oaks or anything, that large trees just won't work in that location.
Gotcha.
So we
And
need a very skinny, upright growing tree, or a tree that doesn't have a large root mass system.
And that,
Yeah, and I'm
that
with you.
area
Anything
too
but
is,
oleander. So that's
I'm
good.
sorry?
Anything but oleander. I'm with you. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
and you know, just Joel, something too, it's probably um with that being the north side, the tower is going to cast that into pretty heavy shade almost all
Yeah.
year. So I mean, they're really going to be struggling to find plants that are going to tolerate that condition.
Yeah. All right. Good deal. Yeah. And then, and I have the same question about any specific more detail on the mass planning on that mounded up turnaround. Yeah.
Oh, so that's really, now it's called emu bush or emu shrub. It's actually been utilized as an evergreen. I don't know if you guys know what myoporium is. Do you know what that plant is?
No, I'm sorry.
So basically, we're just trying to create a ground cover-ish green plant that doesn't have a lot of flower or show to it. That was something that was in the historical landscapes. What was proposed, I would say the image is, it went too fast. It's on the upper right-hand corner, upper right corner. So it does have a yellow flower and or a red flower, and it can be a ground cover or a little, actually you can get to about a 4 foot tall shrub. So actually right now, if we go with the planting, I was thinking we could do the more cyno part, the larger variety of this, and then go with the more the ground cover variety on the outer part to get the our mounding effect of what's used along Church Avenue. It's the same species that we used on Church Avenue to again reflect what used to be a grass berm as in a screening and basically pedestrian control device that was done by ECBO back in the early 70s.
And then my last one is you along the way you mentioned a water feature. I'm not sure, is it an existing or are you going to build a new water feature? Or, what were you referring to when you mentioned a water feature?
Sure. So the historical landscape has an existing water feature. That arch there is the existing water feature. And actually the thought on and the overall design is there's a procession of the water in its use, and you can stand to the south of this and look directly up towards the north to this water feature. That's a very simple water feature with a back wall and an art piece that's currently existing there. We're not doing any new water features or anything like that. This is all per the historical landscape that was restored in started in 19 and finished in 2022-ish.
Oh, okay, good deal. All right. Thanks. Okay.
Sure.
Thank you, Savannah.
Thanks, Joel. Blake?
I don't particularly have anything apart from I regret missing the historic landscape subcommittee meeting where you guys presented this too. I'm sure that Helen and JJ were very thorough with you guys though, and I look forward to seeing you back again.
Yes, thank you. Look forward to talking to you.
Thanks. Andrew?
Yeah, this all looks really good to me. I did have one question on the northeast corner. It looks like that's the walkway that goes down to the crosswalk that crosses the valet drive. Is that a ramp? Are you putting like guardrails all along that?
I think we're able to keep it less than 8%. I could probably find that
So the
somewhere in here.
first, so the crossing along the Broadway is actually obviously no railing, but as you get to a flat area, and then we have a landing, and then we do have ramps to get up to grade.
Okay, so we do have, it is at 8.3, so there is a handrail and landings between those portions.
Okay. Would the intent with that railing just be to kind of match the existing railing that's at the front of the building?
That's a good question. We had started talking about how do we, what kind of railing are we using for this bridge and for our stairs that we're adding. And what we've been talking about using is more of a cable system so that it's clearly a more modern addition. And I think that we can be consistent as we get this bridge, which the bridge is going to be fairly prominent. And, you know, this will be almost 10 feet above above the driveway. Obviously gets back down to the current slope here. But that will also leave it very open, so that we have both that openness so that it's not enclosing things or feeling like a cage, but it's also a more contemporary addition. So that's the current thought.
Okay. Yeah, I think I agree with that line of thought and that to differentiate it and you know m make it clear that it's a new addition. Are you gonna do anything particular with the paving there as it crosses the drive? Maybe just to
Oh,
uh I
at the
saw, yeah, like up at the main like entrance, it looks like there is a pretty tight grid of control
yeah.
joints to that concrete. Are you gonna try and carry that language over on any of this?
There's been some discussion back and forth as to more whether it should be reflective of the historic plaza as far as the score joint spacing. Um, this is, I mean, we are talking, it is right around the corner from this. So this is a kind of a light red integral colored concrete with probably it is only about 18 inches on center scoring. Let me go back to the landscape drawing because you can see one of the way we're looking at it. So the current thought was to use the pattern that's set up by the plaza. So it would be concrete consistent with the hotel side, but then getting into the larger pattern that is used more frequently at the historic plaza.
Okay.
Were
Yeah,
were you asking about the crossing for the intersection where the
Oh,
crosswalk
just looking
passes
at
the
that.
driveway?
yeah, that one, and
Oh,
then
okay.
the lower one, is that a grade crossing or is that a bridge over the drive?
This is
Uh,
just
d- oh,
sidewalk sign.
sorry, more south,
This one?
further south.
Oh,
The where that ramp goes, I guess down,
okay.
curves down and then crosses like perpendicular to that.
It's a
right.
bridge.
The
That's
bridge
a
is right.
bridge.
Yeah, this right here is I'll just circle it. That's the bridge. So that's about the pedestrian foot levels almost 10 feet above the road underneath. So that's
Okay.
how we're getting it up to the plaza level.
Okay. Maybe I missed it. And do you have any sort of idea of the design of that? Maybe I just missed it in the
No,
material.
it is. So we are looking at a concrete retaining wall so that it'll be fairly consistent with the adjacent surfaces. But then this would be a steel bridge. So we're looking at a fairly simple tube steel kind of stringers, I guess, on the sides, and then the cable guardrail on top of those tubes. So since it's only a pedestrian bridge, we can keep it pretty minimal, and it's just going to be spanning between them. We'll have to have some columns that drop down on this east side so that it's self-supporting from the plaza, but then we'll have an expansion joint where it connects to the plaza level.
Okay. Yeah, I'd be interested to see more of that. I don't know if I have a strong inclination one way or the other of doing something, really simple and deferential. But there is, as part of the context, there is that bridge over Broadway and Congress that connects to City Hall over there that has some kind of nice brutalism going on. So I don't know. It'd be interesting. I'll be interested to see how you guys kind of um, how those design elements kind of all work together in context. But I think the pedestrian bridges are definitely unique to this part of downtown. So I think they definitely need, you know, careful consideration one way or the other, just in terms of their design language. So, but yeah, I think those are the only questions I had. This is great, and I'm glad to see something happening with this building again.
It's
So
adjustable, so it's your right
good
size.
luck.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
I'll take it to the doctor for the right size for me.
Yeah, I think it's got to be a little shorter.
Thank you, Andrew.
It's pretty
Joel,
close
can you
to
Only
please
14.
mute? Yeah, I think it's a great presentation. Thank you guys so much. I just had a few questions. I'm trying to remember them. The historic contributing landscape, is it just relative to the eastern edge, or is it, I mean, what's the boundary of that you're?
I go to the second or third image, Tim.
You want image or
The
plan?
the skimmage, the screen here, our presentation. I think it's the second or third image we showed, kind of the boundary of the ECBO itself. Well, actually, this is the two. Yeah. So basically, it's the roundabout, and
that's the roundabout.
The round. Okay, I didn't
and
know
then it
what.
is
So
the north-south walkway plaza space going up along it.
okay.
I
Which
also
you are.
have Map Tucson up. If Michael, if you can provide me access to share, I can share that if that's something of interest for you all to see.
That would be great. Yeah, it's that part I wasn't sure how we would event. I know this is a courtesy, but how we would eventually review it. I mean, you're not demoing anything of the historic portion, is that right? Yeah.
Can you all see that? No.
Yep.
Can you see my screen? Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
He's perfect.
Okay, so the blue here is that historic district. Let me make sure. Yeah, so we have, that's a National Registered District. So you can see it's really kind of just this edge.
Okay.
It's pretty much adjacent to it.
The edge, and the roundabout was within that?
Yes.
The roundabout, is that right here?
No, it's right in the center, back, just that blue spot. Yeah, that big.
Yep.
Yeah.
This area, right? Okay. Because there are multiple parcels, so.
Right. Currently it's 2 parcels, so that the roundabout is directly west of the one you've got highlighted right now.
It's, yeah, dead center right there.
Like right here.
There.
Okay. So yeah, so this portion is actually in the district, and then the rest is pretty much just adjacent to.
Okay. Okay. That's good to know. I mean, I think you guys have done a great job responding to the context. So I was just, I think maybe in the final, knowing where that exactly where that boundary is and knowing or confirming or not removing any hardscape or landscape within it, just
Well,
enhancing it, right?
let me share the screen. I think you're absolutely right. We should make that very clear. Here's the aerial view of that. So that border, I think we'll have to figure out whether it almost looked like it was including some of this piece of the puzzle. Certainly that's the focus. That's what Eric was primarily talking about. And then the connection, because this is the music hall off to the south.
Yeah.
But currently it is our intention to remove the satellite dish and the additional oleanders. We do have to have a generator for this now that it's to meet current code for emergency loads. We have to have a generator that will end up going out in this area.
Yeah, Desiree, why don't we work with you in the meantime to confirm those boundaries? Because I think when we did the National Historic Register application, and that the roundabout was included, but not the right of way or the that dirt area that Tim was pointing to with that.
Okay. Yeah, we can clarify. Sometimes Map Tucson, it's not super precise, so
Sure,
we could do that.
but I think your points are well taken, because I think there's a couple of overlaps on the very south end of that the housing parcel. So in the southeast corner, and as Eric was pointing out, there's a couple of spots where the historic plaza actually integrates on the east side, overlaps a couple of times. So I think that would be good to work out for the committee to share.
Yeah, that would be great. That would be appreciated. And then the final question I had was just try to understand where the future building goes. Is it just that southeastern parcel, or does it start to stretch north too into that other property?
So that space, this won't work. So this is our patio area, and that really is the northern boundary of that future building. So the future building, the goal is to create this so that we've got that north edge that starts to get into that pedestrian connection. And then from here on down is where that future building would go. So it'll come down close to the south boundary. But there's currently the retaining wall of the plaza down there. So I think zoning will really define that edge, but you can also start to see where the plaza is overlapping by probably 4 or 5 feet into the property line at the south there.
Okay, thank you. That was what I had. Again, it's just courtesy, so we'll see you again eventually. Are there any other comments from anyone on the commission? Parting words? Oh, well, thank you. It was very helpful, thoughtful work. Thank you.
Appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you all.
We'll see you soon.
I'll see you soon. Yeah, we're excited.
Desiree, we'll coordinate to get together with you right away so we can have time to get that clarified. Those are good questions.
Okay. Sounds great.
That's great.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. All right. So moving on, let's see. We're at item 6 now, current issues for information and discussion. 6A, minor reviews. You guys have an update on that?
Yeah, we do. I will start off first, and my colleague Jason will follow next. So minor reviews I have done this time have mainly been solar panel reviews in West University. Our contact person here remains Andrew, and Andrew, thank you for that. For these reviews that I've done in West University, it used to be Richard Sarah, Unfortunately, her term has expired, so I need to get another person to help me in West University. But the ones that we have done have been 102 East First Street, which is a solar panel. Andrew looked at it and it was okay to go. 112 East First Street was also a solar panel. The same thing here. Andrew reviewed it and there was nothing to add except for the fact that the applicant needed to show some parapet height to whatever thing was being proposed. And I brought that to the attention to the applicant, and that has since been adjusted. The last one is 628 North 3rd Avenue, which is again a solar panel installation. That one sailed along with no problem, has since been approved, and the decision letter sent out. I am currently working on one more, which is solar panel. I've not yet sent it out, but I'll be sending it to Andrew now, today or tomorrow. 941 North 6th Avenue for a solar panel. Those are the ones that I have done. Unfortunately, I've not done any in the Armory Park at this point since our last review. So I turn it over to Jason. Jason, do you have any to?
Yes, I will keep this short and sweet. I have no minor reviews. It's all quiet on the western side.
Nice. All right, item 6B, appeals.
We don't have any updates, or there are no active appeals currently.
Oh, nice. 6C, zoning violations. We have pattern.
Yeah, we don't have any real updates. You know, there are a few zoning violations, but we're working with the applicants through those.
Sounds good. 6D, review process issues.
I will note, so we had sent you all, we had drafted a staff executive summary to kind of provide alongside develop or design packages, just simple, kind of short 2-pager. So we did get some feedback. So we've incorporated that feedback and we're going to start using that with new cases. So it might take a while to hit PRS because we're going to start with the new cases. They'll go first to the advisory boards and then to PRS. So I did want to thank you for providing that feedback. And yeah, we're looking forward to seeing how it works. You know, it'll kind of be an experiment and we can definitely adjust if needed.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I'm excited for that as well. It'll be nicely organized moving forward.
Yes. Thanks.
Anything else from today? Okay. All right, well, we'll go on to item 7, future agenda items for upcoming meetings. Our next January 22nd.
Yes.
In 2 weeks.
Yes, 2 weeks. So we do have a few items. So there will be a remodel of an existing contributing building and adding an attached garage in Armory Park, another kind of accessory structure in Fort Lowell. And then there will also be a courtesy review for a proposed rezoning and parking lot in West University. And then I did want to kind of bring up, so you all are familiar with the All Saints projects in Armory Park. It's a pretty large project involving multiple parcels, multiple buildings that's coming through the system now. We're still waiting for kind of them to submit their SD subrecord and full design package for the historic review. But they are, you know, looking to move to get input, you know, quickly because of their HUD funding. And just given the size of the project, the complexity of the project, and other cases, we already have a full agenda for the 22nd. We may be asking for a special meeting for that one, for those projects specifically. And so first it would go to Armory Park. So similarly, it will probably be a special meetings request for Armory Park, and then you all. So I'll be working with you kind of to figure out that schedule. But I just wanted to give you a heads up that yeah, January is probably going to be February is probably going to be a bit busy.
That project, though, it's multiple permits, so they're kind of all separate cases technically, right? But are they moving all through at the same timeline?
Basically, yes.
Yeah.
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 I mean, they are coming through, you know, a little bit kind of in a batch as batches. But yeah, we'll kind of see which ones are ready to be reviewed and, you know, schedule accordingly. So yeah, we'll kind of have to figure out the schedule as we move through that process. But I just wanted to give you a heads up. We might be asking for extra meeting.
Got it. Do you want us to look, do you want to propose some dates now or do you want to wait till the next meeting?
I think I'll wait just because I don't want to put a date out there and then
Okay.
applications are not ready, you know.
All right.
Yeah.
Is everyone going to be here on the 22nd at least? Those of us who are here now? It works for me.
Yes.
That works for me.
Yep.
Okay. And I don't remember Terry having any, or at least knowing of anything, so we should all be able to be there and then set the special one, which I think it makes sense probably to stick with 1 o'clock Thursdays, but we can just add a week or something like that, but we can decide.
Okay.
All right.
And then the City Hall designation, I'll just mention because that was an item that was continued. We're looking at the first meeting in February to aim to get that back to you. We are waiting for some files to come through from Microfiche and also looking to go to the Historical Society records office. And we want to look at the kind of some of the comments we discussed right before the holiday. So yeah, early February.
Sounds good. It's a good one.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it seems like we can wrap this up. Is there anything else related to upcoming meeting?
No.
Okay. Well, I can move on to item 8, adjournment at 2:49. Thank you all.
Good job,
right.
Savannah. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good job,
Thank
Savannah.
Thank you,
We're gonna
motion
have a coup, a
makers.
new leader.
Again, just pretend Terry is here and act like her. That's what I get my energy from. So those of you who
Awesome.
made, I think it was mostly Andrew, right? Just the 2 motions. If you are able to send us those, that would be great. I know you're in the
Yeah.
car. Sorry.
I
Thank you.
No, all good. I sent them to Desiree and Michael, and then
Okay.
I blind copied you.
Perfect.
So.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks.
Already done. All right. Well, thank you guys. See you next
Thanks.
time.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye.